We already know that big names attract big money, right? It's the law of the jungle, the way the world works. But for years, NCIS fans have been pretty curious about how much a certain fan favorite earns. They've made their guess, they've had their bets, and now they're looking for some answers. So we think it's time we all knew. How much does Mark Harmon make from one NCIS episode? So let's find out. First off, how much does Mark Harmon make per episode? It's not a surprise that the NCIS franchise is huge. After all, it's been on our screen since 2003, and the creative team has been putting out banger after banger for the audience to enjoy. The show even has many spin-offs, like NCIS Los Angeles, Hawaii, New Orleans, and Sydney. You guys know it. But an integral part of the main NCIS show has always been Mark Harmon's character, Leroy Gibbs. It all comes back to him in a way, doesn't it? So, when Mark stepped away from NCIS, fans were heartbroken, and understandably so. Seeing him on screen for 20 long seasons, people started associating the show with the actor and the character he played, Leroy Gibbs. Now, even though Mark's final episode aired in October of last year, fans are still curious about how much the actor made from appearing in the popular police procedural series. And there have been rumors as always. Before he left the hit drama last year, reports claimed that Mark earned a whopping $525,000 per episode. That's a mind-boggling number, isn't it? We couldn't help but do the math. So based on the standard 24-episode season, the star would have made over $12.6 million. That can't be right, can it? Up next, let's find out how much money Mark is worth anyway. You thought the previous number was shocking? Just stay tuned for what we have in store next. The 71-year-old's net worth is almost $100 million, which he has amassed over the course of his nearly 50-year career in the industry. But after looking at the earnings per episode, we would say that we are not surprised at all. He even talked a little about his legacy. In a special feature on the show's season 19 DVD release, Mark discussed the legacy of his character and shared his thoughts on how Gibbs' storyline was wrapping up. Harmon had invested a significant part of his acting career in this character and show, so if there's one thing we can be sure about, it's that the actor does not need to worry about leaving behind a legacy. Even after his departure from the show, the fans want cameos and even a full-blown return. Well, can you blame them? Now that begs the question, why did Mark Harmon leave NCIS in the first place? When Mark revealed that he would be departing NCIS after over 20 years of playing Special Agent Gibbs, fans of the show were inconsolable, but this guy had his reasons for the decision. According to the Gibbs actor, after nearly 2 decades on the show, he no longer believed that he was getting the opportunity to tackle new and difficult material, and that was one of the major reasons he kept going back each season. Mark was happy about the turn the character had taken. He believed that the character's development was honest, and he was okay with it. But at the same time, he knew it was time to say goodbye. Harmon also added that he believes that the character has not retired, but is currently living in Alaska. This statement has fueled theories that Leroy Gibbs might actually return, but the departure also makes sense in a way. For an actor of his stature, the challenge might be the most important part. After some time, it must have gotten stale for Harmon to play Leroy, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Mark did some amazing things with the character. The development had the fans hooked from the start of season 1 to the very end of season 19. Many of us fans got addicted to the show because of Leroy Gibbs and his antics. Up next, Brian Dietzen reveals an exciting new NCIS storyline. In a recent interview, Brian teased about Mark's return as the storyline progresses. This all started when Brian tweeted about the ratings of NCIS. He stated that even after 20 seasons, the show was still on top. The actor posted an article that showed NCIS had the highest rating for CBS's fall, along with the likes of FBI Most Wanted and Chicago Fire. Fans couldn't help but speculate when the great actor recently hinted at an upcoming thrilling storyline on the show, while celebrating NCIS's high ratings. Some quickly jumped on that tweet to praise the show and the actor, and talk about the character of Leroy Gibbs. Many fans just applauded Mark for his acting. Others went as far as asking for a cameo in future seasons. Since 2004, Brian has portrayed Jimmy Palmer in NCIS. He first got the part as a guest appearance before the show helped jumpstart his career. Don't you love it when things just work out? Coming up, are there any chances of a potential return of Leroy Gibbs? In a recent interview with Looper, Brian spoke candidly about his time on the show and discussed the significant changes that came about as a result of actor Mark Harmon's departure. He talked about how he was blessed to be on this show since 2004, being able to work with the likes of Mark and call him a friend. Deedson described that the set of the show for the past 20 years had been filled with great individuals who made the show what it is today, and he's been excited to work with them all. Lastly, he said that not having Mark on the show was a massive change, as the show was literally built on the backs of great people like him. But for the fans, he did not close the door on his return. As far as we're concerned, we're hoping this return happens fast. While it's true that Gibbs is no longer a part of the show, neither he nor Mark has been forgotten. Any chance of him returning to the main screen of NCIS would be great news. Even though it has not been confirmed, this rumor has excited the fan base. They want to see their favorite character return from Alaska and go back to crime solving. And trust us, we are just as excited. Fingers crossed. Moving on, have you heard about Mark Harmon's heroic act? Don't ask him about it though. The former NCIS star just comes off as very modest about it. But don't worry, we're here to catch you up instead. The actor once used his alter persona in a brave act back in 1990 that hasn't been forgotten, especially by the young boy he saved. Two teenagers were traveling down his street in their automobile in 1996 when it collided and caught fire. Colin Specht, the passenger, wasn't able to leave the vehicle, while the driver was able to leave the car. When Mark realized what had happened, he reacted quickly and used a sledgehammer to break the car's glass, allowing Colin to escape unharmed. Many years later, Colin spoke to CBS about this incident. He said that he wouldn't have been alive if Mark hadn't pulled him out of the burning car. But when we asked Harmon about the whole thing, he remained extremely modest. He said that he couldn't claim credit for anything because if the car explodes and he's there next to the car, you're talking about two young boys who don't have a father anymore, referencing his own sons. This alone is the reason why we love the man so much. Oh, but in all the action, we won't forget Pam. The actor's wife, Pam Dauber, also played a crucial role. It was she who noticed Colin stuck in the car and called her husband. If it wasn't for her, the kid might not have been this lucky. It was the quick thinking of the couple that saved a life that day, and we've been in awe ever since. Finally, what's Colin up to nowadays? Colin claims that his life, after that car crash, has changed completely. For him, it was an intense experience. During the accident, he broke 12 bones and 30% of his body had been burned. He was placed in a medically induced coma and had to be hospitalized for 5 months, which was followed by a few more months of bed rest. That's pretty much the worst thing you can experience at 16 years of age. But this guy came out stronger despite it all. Since then, Colin has started the Specht Initiative with the goal of helping people find peace and harmony in their life. He believes that all you need is the initial push to start, and after that, you can easily turn your life around. Colin provides life coaching, personal training, and sober guidance to the masses. Imagine getting a second chance at life and using it to make the world a better place. Now that's impressive. That's a wrap. Let us know in the comments below what you think of Mark Harmon's potential return to NCIS. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.